Hey guys, it's Daniel here, and I'm back with a new review. Again, sorry for the delay, but I thought I'd get this little voiceover review to quickly get this movie reviewed because I don't really have a lot to say about this movie aside from what my real thoughts of the movie are, but I thought that a recorded review would kind of speed up the process of getting a review out to you all. Also, this is I don't know how long it's been since I've done a recorded review, but hey, welcome back to the stage. So, what movie have I decided to review today? Well, it was a movie that I actually had loads of interest in watching when the advertisement first came out. It's a A24 adventure movie called The Legend of Ochi. So The Legend of Ochi follows a little girl named Yuri, whose family is at war with a mysterious animal race known as the Ochi, and they are hell-bent on finding the Ochi place and taking them down at all costs because they consider this animal race to be enemies. However, when Yuri discovers a baby Ochi who is hurt and in trouble out in the woods on her own, she secretly decides to go on an adventure with Ochi to take him back to his family, while Yuri's family is not far behind them. And a lot of adventure and bonding ensues. So, when I first saw the advertisement for this movie, I was actually very interested because it looked colourful, it looked like such an interesting environment, and so much effort and inspiration might go into it, and despite pretty much having the cliche child and their pet story, I was still very interested to watch it. It had a little actress that I don't think I've heard of, so this might be one of her first work, but she could have been in other things beforehand. It also has Willem Dafoe and Finn Wolfhard, two great actors, and it was one of those A24 movies that, honestly, I thought was going to be one of the best because A24 is well known for low budget but still high quality movies like Sing Sing, which I loved. So I was really looking forward to watching The Legend of Ochi. Sadly though, the actual viewing of this movie was, well, nothing special. Unfortunately guys, I was a teeny weeny bit disappointed by this movie. I didn't really get into it that much. I mean, it's a shame though, because I was really looking forward to it. However, before I talk about what I didn't like about the movie, let's talk about some of the goods. One of the things I definitely have to say about this movie is that the actress for Yuri is one of the things that carried this movie on its back, because this actress did a fantastic job at speaking at a very quiet tone, because she has a very reserved and very curious personality, which I found very admirable, but it's mainly in the moments where she's bonding with Ochi, who is the other thing that carried this movie on its back, because Ochi is a very cute and lovable little animal, but he also has a little bit of a fierce side to him too. At least I think it's a he. I'll call him he. If I got the gender wrong, then I apologise. But Yuri and Ochi definitely carried this movie for me, and the actress for Yuri, as well as the puppet or CGI thing for Ochi, which I'll discuss later on, do a fantastic job contrasting each other and interacting with each other, because their first scene together was probably my favourite part of the whole movie, because Yuri barely says anything in this scene and Ochi can't speak English at all, yet the facial expressions from the puppet and the young actress really gives you the clear idea of what these characters are thinking of, and it makes the scene so mysterious, yet endearing and magical at the same time. And their bond together was very interesting. I mean, it was very cliche, but I felt that compared to anything else in the movie, those two, in terms of character level, were the only ones that managed to carry the movie for me. The other thing that really carried this movie for me and kept my eyes captivated throughout were the visuals. Oh my god, this movie looks amazing. The cinematography for the landscapes of the area of the adventure that is taking place, the mountains and some of the locations we visit, is so otherworldly, yet still very intriguing and it makes you want to kind of visit these places and go on an adventure. Sure, it's not as grand or as special as Lord of the Rings, but it's still special enough, and the visual effects are also fantastic as well, especially on the Ochis, which, I have to say, the visuals and puppetry for Ochi, in my opinion, was very, very well done, because I don't know what the behind-the-scenes process is to make Ochi, like, so admirably looking, but it really looked like they were blending in a good mix of puppetry and CGI, and a lot of the times, I couldn't even tell which one was which. Sometimes it looked like CGI, but it could have been puppetry, and sometimes, oh, that's definitely puppetry. But at the same time, it could have been CGI, I couldn't tell the difference. But I think it was more of the puppetry aspect, which, in my opinion, puppetry is one of the things that might get a little overlooked, but it's definitely a very important and vital fact in order to make like a fictional character that is like an animal so alive and feeling the kind of emotions that a real person would feel, which I loved and respect. And I suppose the last thing I will say I liked about the film is that I guess the score was kind of like really good and adds to the adventure element. But unfortunately, guys, I will say those are all the good things I have to say about the film. The characters of Yuri and Ochi, their bondage, the visuals, and part of the score is all I have left for this one. Now, unfortunately, let's get into the negatives. Now, a few of these negatives might not seem like a big deal, but in my opinion, they really affect the movie in more ways than one, and this is the first major factor into it, because in my opinion, the biggest problem with this film is its incredibly forcefully rushed pacing. My goodness, this movie was way too fast, it was way too quick. I mean, it's an hour and 30-minute long film, and in my opinion, it felt way shorter than it needed to be. I could understand if you had like good amount of stuff going on in an hour and 30 minutes, but a lot of the things that go on in this hour and 30 minutes go on way too quick, and they're not given enough time to the point where you find it really hard to connect with some of these characters or really care about what the setting is that they're going through. And secondly, nothing special really happens in this film because like a lot of things are very rushed by, and character level, you just don't think it's that special. Like, you don't connect with a lot of the characters besides Yuri and Ochi. Like, okay, you got those characters, but what about the rest? Like, okay, I will say another good thing I liked about this movie is that I can get entertained by Willem Dafoe, which, I mean, it's Willem Dafoe. I mean, of course he's gonna, like, be really good. And also, he's been in a lot of projects recently. Well, not recently, he's always been in loads of projects, but I keep seeing his name everywhere. However, that is also kind of a little bit of a problem, because I'm glad that he's getting a lot of work, but this is definitely one of the examples of one of the actors in this movie who felt like they just got themselves a quick paycheck, because his character is not only very cliche, but he's nothing really special or new. Like, you don't really get to really connect with him too much, and the opening and of like when you see Yuri bonding with him or bonding with the rest of her family is so fast and quick that you don't care about what conflict their relationship is. And therefore, you can't really connect with them fighting each other because it's not that, like, interesting. It's because, and it's not really the character's fault because they're not given enough time, and I feel like this movie needs to be longer because of it. And also, like, why would you waste Finn Wolfhard? Like, he's like in a movie that has like this kind of level storytelling and quality to it, but his character is so wasted, I don't even remember the character's name, and even a lot of the purpose of what the character did, because he's just like, he sees what's going on in the beginning of the movie, yet he's just kind of in the background most of the time, and then he does try to do something, but nothing big, and he's just kind of there. It felt like, again, it felt like a kind of an easy paycheck. I mean, maybe he just did this movie to save money or something, but his performance isn't really utilized to its best potential because his character just came off as a bit blah. I mean, maybe it's because he was busy with Stranger Things at the time, which its final season coming out this year is going to be amazing, but man, his character just came off as very wasted and very, like, blasé. And again, he's just kind of there. But in my opinion, the weakest character in this entire movie, that in my opinion is the most shoehorned in character in this film, is Emily Watson's character. In my opinion, nobody has to agree with me on this, but I personally felt like her character didn't even need to be there. Like, what purpose does she serve besides something that she does later on, which honestly, anybody could have done besides her? Honestly, nothing, and her little purpose in the story doesn't really add too much conflict or any kind of, like, peril or something, because she just tries to do something, it fails, and then she just kind of fades into the background, and in my opinion, she's just kind of the most there character in the movie that honestly didn't even need to be there. Another thing that makes the movie kind of less special in its rushed pacing is that, once again, this is another cliche child and their pet story. A child finds a little animal that is part of an animal race that her family or her peers hate. She tries to help this animal while keeping it a secret from her family. They bond over each other, finding out each other's cultures, while also protecting the animal from people who want it, and then officially letting it go. Which, I have a little confession to make at this time. I'll probably watch it after I've finished this review, but the ending of the movie, I actually have no idea how it ends, because, in my opinion, I just completely chipped out of the film by then. I didn't watch the ending, and I didn't really care about how it ended, because I can take a guess at how it ended. Maybe it didn't end the way I expected it, but with how cliche and predictable the rest of the movie is, I could take a guess at how the movie ended, but I didn't even watch it because I just didn't care. So yeah, I guess I didn't really have much to say about the movie because I couldn't find anything that's really special or interesting about the movie, and it's just kind of the most there movie I've ever seen. I mean, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen, and I don't think the movie is awful or anything. I just didn't think it was the greatest movie ever made. I mean, no movie is, but I just didn't think it is. Again, positives is that the character of Yuri, her actress, the Ochi character, and his puppet, the visuals, and some of the performances as well, and a bit of the score was very interesting to watch. But unfortunately, because of its rushed pacing, predictable story, forgettable characters, and very nothing new that's to be added to really justify the rushed pacing, and in my opinion, I just felt kind of bored throughout the movie because it was going way too fast and nothing monumental or special was happening in those hour and 30 minutes. Really made me connect with anything in the movie besides, I guess, its two main leads. But its two main leads as well, they're nothing truly new because we've seen these characters before. In fact, a lot of this movie felt so much like How to Train Your Dragon and E.T. I mean, more like How to Train Your Dragon because it kind of had a similar setting to it, but still, I was pretty disappointed by this movie, and it's a shame because I really wanted to like this movie, but I guess when I saw it, I just kind of felt like I wanted to fall asleep. So, unfortunately, despite my excitement for the movie at first, I think I'm probably going to have to give the movie a 2 out of 5 stars. It is pretty forgettable, and honestly, despite all of you probably being interested in seeing the movie, you can give it a watch if you like, but in my opinion, don't see it. There are much better movies to see out there. In fact, I heard the new Sinners movie and Thunderbolts movie is going very good. I haven't seen them myself, but maybe they could be really good. But I think there are much better movies, as well as much better child and their pet stories to watch than The Legend of Ochi. But for those of you who have seen the movie, what do you think about it? Again, my opinion doesn't justify anybody else's opinion, because if you like the movie, that is perfectly fine, or do you agree with me and you don't think it's that great? And I want to ask you this question. Which is your favourite child and their pet stories? Let me know in the comment section below, in terms of film. Anyway, more videos to come, and I'm Daniel, reviewing movies, TV shows, and doing videos. Till then, peace out, man.